Okay, people, I'm gonna try and make this short. It's a haircut story about me going to get my hair cut. And this was in the early part of July of this year. And none of this was intentional on other people's part. It was just a very awkward moment that happened. That's all it was. But I guarantee you this. I am not going back to that haircutting place. Even if it's the same name somewhere else, the same company name somewhere else, I'm just gonna stay away from that. and let me tell you why. It's a very awkward story. I normally get my hair cut every 2 or more months, say 3 or 4 months, okay? Because I get a short haircut like this, and you know it's very basic haircut, you know. It's a very basic haircut. A barber can do it. And I had a barber years ago cut my hair, like, you know, I just walk into a barber, hey, can you cut this? It's just hair, it grows out. It's not like I'm getting a perm or a color or anything like that, you know. So anyway, I walk into this haircutting place, and the place I usually go to, and of a specific company name, and I go, are you taking walk-ins? And they say yes. And so I go in, I wait for my turn, and usually I look at the hands, okay? There's a reason for that. If they have like a little cut, a little band-aid, that's not a big deal. But if they got a band-aid like this person I figured out later on, with a finger guard on it, that's something altogether different. Not that that's a big deal, because they took measures, and that's cool. But anyway, I didn't look at the hands, I wasn't paying attention. I sit in this chair, this person goes to wet my hair down and start cutting and stuff like that. And again, I wasn't observant. They kept going back and forth in the back room, and this person goes, I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth because I cut my finger really bad from cutting another person's hair, because they used like a razor technique to cut hair, and they cut the crap out of their finger. And I saw this finger with with the band-aid and the finger guard, and looked like it was bleeding pretty good, you know, but it was contained, you know, it's not a big deal. And they suggested, if this gets uncomfortable, you can have someone else cut your hair besides me if you want to, something like that. I'm like, well, let's just give it a try. So the person proceeds to start cutting my hair and stuff like that, but having to go back and forth. And I was like, I never had that situation before. I never had that happen to me, because again, I'm observant of the hands, you know. I never had this situation, awkward. And as this person was cutting, I go, you know, that finger subconsciously is distracting you. You know, maybe what you suggested, to have someone else come and finish cutting my hair, would be a good idea. And when I said that, that person just like start having like their emotional, kind of like a small emotional meltdown, you know what I mean? And I go, it's okay, it's your finger, you know, it's okay. And I start trying to console this person and stuff like that. And, oh my God, this is so awkward. And so this person goes to another hairdresser, because they only had 2 hairdressers there that day to cut hair. 2. I mean, no, I don't know. It makes me think about a lot of things about my next haircut the months down the road from now. But so that I had to wait for the other person to get done with the other customer, and then that person came and finished my hair. It turned out fine. The other person wasn't really getting a clue. I mean, how hard is it to understand, cut my sideburns, add an angle, soft around the ears, taper all this into a V, leave some length on top, and blend this all in? You know, how hard is that? So I took pictures this time of the side of my hair, and the back of my hair. I took a couple pictures because I realize now if you go to a budget place to get your hair cut, there's a chance somebody there is not going to understand what you're talking about. So that's my awkward moment. And I'm not going back to that company name to get my haircut. And I'm not saying name of the company, that's why I say company name. And I'm not going back to that location or the company name or anything like that. I'm going to just pick a whole different hair cutting establishment. And maybe I might find a place that charges more for a haircut. And the reason why I'm thinking about doing it that way, looking for a haircut, something a little more expensive, is that if I walk into a place that charges more for a haircut, maybe that means there's more hairdressers to fill the chairs to cut more people's hair. There'd be more hairdressers that would be, I don't know, motivated to come in, not calling sick. I mean, if you charge some crazy amount like $60 to cut your hair, that's like an incentive to come in. You know, if you've got a cold, wear a mask. You know. So I don't know. I know this whole story sounds stupid, but that whole fucking business just left me feeling awkward. And I was so flustered and felt so awkward. Normally I tip. I've always tipped my hairdressers 95% of the time. 5% I forgot or something. Somewhere I got distracted. But 95% of the time I always tip it. I want to tip nice. But that day I didn't tip at all because I was just so flustered and awkward from the whole moment. It's like, I just wanted to get out of there. You know. So a note to you, all your hairdressers, if you cut your finger really bad or injure yourself on the job really bad, it's going to be subconsciously a distraction. So just make your day better and go home. Just go home. You know, people don't need your, you know, because we all have those days. I have those days. I had plenty of those days. I had those days where my day was poop. You know, we all have those days. But if you have an opportunity to go home, especially when you're cutting hair or cooking someone's food, dealing with the public, if you have an opportunity to go home because your day's poopy, I suggest you do it, okay? There might be situations where you can't go home, but if you can, do so. Peace out.